Welcome, Mrs. Buck. We're so excited to have you at Westgate. I'm Mrs. Corey, and my question is, what is your favorite animal?
Okay, favorite animal. This is a really hard question for me because I love animals. So, personally, we have two dogs. We have Bentley, who we just actually adopted in March. And then we have Vivi, who we've had for about 7 years. And so I love animals. I would have 1,000,000 dogs if I could, but Mr. Buck would not let me. So that's not an option. So I just have my two, which I really, I walk every morning and I enjoy being with. But I love animals just in general. So I guess in order to answer this question, I kind of have to think like sea, air, land. So if I were to think about like what my favorite sea animal is, it would definitely be a dolphin. And I think one of the things I love about dolphins is they're very inquisitive, they're curious, they're super smart, and they like being together. And playful. And so I think those are characteristics that I really love. And I think probably have some of that in me as well. So I relate well to a dolphin. If I were to think land animal, it would definitely be a horse. I love horses. Peyton, my daughter, has ridden horses since she was 6 years old. So we've been around horses, certainly her more than me. But I just love, they're beautiful. They're very majestic, and they are very intuitive. And again, they're so beautiful when they run, and they love to be together, and they are in herds together. And I just think that there's something about them that I just think is just so interesting and so wonderful. It reminds me of a trip. Mr. Buck and I actually went out to Nevada, and we were driving, and there are these open areas where they have these wild horses, and it was just herds and herds of wild horses. I'd never seen so many horses together, and watching them run as we were driving down the road I was just in awe. They're so strong and beautiful. So I would say definitely in terms of a land animal, a horse is probably my favorite. And then when I think of a sky animal, I'm not a big fan of birds. So I'm going to choose a mythical. I'm going to choose a mythical animal, and that's a dragon. And I think dragons are really, I find them to be fascinating because they are strong and can be scary and destructive, but at the same time, there's something magical about them. And again, the way they fly, they're extremely graceful and powerful in their flight. So I think that if I were to think of the animals, those would probably be the three that I would put towards the top of my list of favorite animals. What's your favorite animal?
Those are so thoughtful. I love polar bears, so all of my students know that. I've always been a big polar bear fan. I have lots of stuffed animal polar bears. I always like to think of a pet favorite animal, and then, like a wild one. That would be my wild one. And then dogs would be my pet favorite animal.
So tell me a little bit about polar bears. What made you, of all the animals that are out there, what made polar bears an interesting animal to you?
I think just because they're so cute is my first reason, especially the babies. And then for people's birthdays, I started looking up facts about polar bears. So I started learning a lot of interesting facts about polar bears. My favorite is that they're only 1 pound when they're born, and then also they're all left-handed. And I don't know how you figure that out, but that's another interesting fact about them.
Certainly those were two facts I did not know about polar bears before, but certainly the last one with the left-handedness, that is fascinating.
I really don't know how you study that.
Yeah, I'd be curious as to how they came to determine that. I wonder if it's like watching them hunt, maybe. I don't know. That would be interesting. Maybe that's your next research.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good one.
You can put your first graders on that. I bet many of them would be able to figure out the answer.
I think so, yeah.